We got the body language experts analyzing this right now. How quickly do you...
Don't touch me. In real life, it's the other way around, and I constantly have to call Blake and be like, it's okay, you're good at giving interviews. I worked with her husband Ryan several years ago, so I met like a few times through
Are you guys, but you guys are like, both of you have this attitude about you that...
Blake Lively's flawless facade might be about to crack under the weight of eye-opening rumors and co-star showdowns. Could this perfect Hollywood darling be Hollywood's best-kept secret diva? Brace yourself for revelations that could upend everything you think you know. You can't talk about Blake Lively without mentioning how squeaky clean her brand seems at first glance. From the moment she broke out in the sisterhood of the Traveling Pants films, she's carried an air of carefree warmth. Then came her star-making role as Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl, turning her into a fashion icon and fixture of New York's chic social scene. Layer in her widely envied marriage to Ryan Reynolds, her comedic chops on social media, and you've got the perfect PR storm, a star who seems down-to-earth, witty, and almost too good to be true. But this bright image might overshadow certain cracks beneath the surface. Behind the lens, unconfirmed stories paint her as someone who can be surprisingly tough to work with. Critics argue her comedic social posts and "I'm just a regular mom" interviews mask an undercurrent of ambition and control. Of course, ambition isn't a bad thing. In Hollywood, you need drive to stand out. Yet the rumors swirling around Lively suggest her ambition sometimes crosses the line, especially when it rubs co-stars the wrong way. Industry chatter hints that Lively's can-do-no-wrong persona might actually be her greatest armor. The logic goes, if the public sees you as perpetually sunny and free of drama, it's easier to deflect negative press. For years, that strategy worked like a charm. It wasn't until she started clashing with some well-loved stars that people began to ask, is Blake Lively really that nice, or is she just brilliant at PR?
I promise you, people like you, they respect you.
A lot of talking.
Gotta give her a pep talk. I'm like, we're
And that brings us to one of her most publicized rumored rifts. If you watched A Simple Favor, you might remember how perfectly Blake and Anna Kendrick's on-screen chemistry popped. In interviews, though, it looked like they were holding back jabs more than palling around. Let's take a closer look at that dynamic. Anna Kendrick brings her signature biting wit, whether she's playing an a cappella queen in Pitch Perfect or shaking up a mystery comedy in A Simple Favor. Known for her comedic timing and blunt honesty, fans initially saw her pairing with Blake Lively as a genius move. Two actresses with strong screen presence and humor. What could go wrong? Apparently, quite a bit. Their press tours were filled with subtle digs, awkward glances, and a tension that felt icier than a winter sidewalk. Fans analyzed interviews frame by frame, convinced there was hidden animosity beneath the forced laughs. One moment that stood out, Anna's habit of gently correcting Blake mid-sentence. Was it playful teasing or something sharper? The tension was undeniable. Rumors suggest their issue started even before filming, when Anna made offhand comments about America's sweetheart pop stars. While Kendrick's humor is self-deprecating and often scathing, it may not have sat well with Blake's polished image. Allegedly, Blake saw it as a jab at her squeaky clean persona. By the time filming wrapped, the digs and microaggressions reportedly escalated. Things got so tense that production higher-ups allegedly had to step in, urging both stars to keep it professional for the film's success. The media's focus on Blake's fashion over Anna's performance didn't help, sparking rumors that Anna requested changes to the movie's poster to better match Blake's bombshell look. In the end, their press appearances were a slow moire meltdown. Instead of future collaborations, they went their separate ways. A sequel was announced, but reportedly stalled, with whispers that Blake's reluctance to promote it created friction with the studio. So, is Blake protecting her image or fueling more drama? Either way, it's just another chapter in her complicated Hollywood story. Back in 2007, Gossip Girl reigned as the ultimate teen drama, blending high fashion with scandalous secrets in Manhattan's Upper East Side. Blake Lively's Serena van der Woodsen and Leighton Meester's Blair Waldorf became iconic frenemies, their love-hate dynamic driving the show's success. On screen, they dazzled, sometimes sisters, sometimes bitter rivals. Behind the scenes, though, things were reportedly far less friendly. While Serena exuded carefree glamour, Blair was the scheming perfectionist with a vulnerable side. Fans assumed Blake and Leighton were besties off-screen, until whispers of tension surfaced. Their differing personalities may have been a factor. Blake, the outgoing social butterfly, enjoyed mingling with the crew and attending events. Leighton, in contrast, was more reserved, preferring downtime away from Hollywood's spotlight. These differences might have gone unnoticed if not for the rumor that Blake made an insensitive comment about Leighton's family. Leighton's mother had served time for drug charges, something she never exploited for sympathy. The alleged cage joke Blake made, if true, felt snide and personal. Fans labeled it heartless, and many believe it caused a permanent rift between them. Despite their chemistry on screen, they reportedly kept their distance once the cameras stopped rolling. Crew members joked about taking sides, Team Blake or Team Leighton. The tension only grew when Blake's star power soared in the fashion and film world, while Leighton opted for indie projects and a budding music career. By the time the show ended in 2012, Blake had moved on, skipping cast reunions and staying quiet about her past co-stars. Leighton's minimal comments on Blake only fueled speculation that their relationship was over for good. The two don't follow each other on social media, a clear sign in today's celebrity culture. Whether it was a simple personality clash or something deeper, the rumors refused to fade. Hollywood's awards circuit might seem like glitzy red carpet fun, but it also serves as a behind-the-scenes gauge for who's in good standing and who's not. That's why it's so notable when a big name is passed over for presenting gigs or hosting slots. There's a persistent rumor that Blake Lively faced exactly that scenario in the 2021/2022 Golden Globes, where she apparently tried to secure a presenter role and was politely denied. Typically, these shows roll out the red carpet for A-listers, especially those with a recognized brand and a track record in the industry. So if the story is true that she was turned down, it might signal that certain networks or production teams see her as a liability or simply not worth the hassle. Of course, award shows have their own controversies, especially the Golden Globes. But the rumor alone raised eyebrows. Was it just scheduling conflicts, or was the rejection tied to Lively's behind-the-scenes reputation? Some argue it was merely a procedural issue, while others believe it indicated friction with particular TV executives. After all, we've heard stories about how certain celebrities become too demanding or too difficult. Could Lively have stepped on the wrong toes? Everyone, from stylists to producers, can carry grudges in an industry that thrives on relationships. In Hollywood, a good reputation can smooth out petty conflicts, but a bad or questionable reputation can stack quickly. The repeated mention of difficult attitude or on-set drama can tip the scales. So maybe this Golden Globe situation is just a drop in the bucket. One more anecdote that suggests where there's smoke, there's possibly some serious fire. The slip. Rumors of blacklisting can be sensational, but real damage often manifests in subtler ways, like a promising film getting stuck in development limbo. Enter A Simple Favor 2. The original film did well enough, boasting comedic thriller vibes and a fresh storyline. Studios usually jump on the chance for a sequel, especially one starring two well-known leads, Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. So why is the sequel apparently on ice? According to whispers around the industry, Lively reportedly refused to commit to the essential press responsibilities. If that's true, it's no small matter. A film's promotional push is crucial to its box office performance, and with streaming deals in the mix, studios want their stars to be highly visible. If your lead actress declines to show up for interviews and red carpet events, that can cripple the entire project. There's also a mention of some legal issues swirling around Lively involving a producer named Justin Baldoni, though details remain murky. Maybe it's a contract dispute, maybe personal friction, or a conflict of interest. In any case, if a star is backing away from promotional duties due to behind-the-scenes entanglements, a studio could see that as a signal. This isn't worth the hassle. And that's how a sequel that might have been a sure bet gets shelved indefinitely. Is Lively intentionally sabotaging the project, or is she protecting herself from a situation she finds untenable? Either scenario feeds the narrative that her star power sometimes collides with an unwillingness to compromise. Meanwhile, Anna Kendrick and Henry Golding, also attached to the sequel, are left in limbo. If the film never materializes, that's months of work and potential paychecks down the drain, all overshadowed by the alleged friction with Lively. Hollywood is no stranger to feuds and big egos. Sometimes, though, a single star's reputation can overshadow any official story the studio is trying to tell. Blake Lively cultivated a shining public image for over a decade, but the constant trickle of gossip about how she interacts with co-workers and industry folks has started to tarnish the shine. The question is, how fair is it to blame her entirely? Anna Kendrick's sarcasm can be biting. Leighton Meester's preferences for privacy don't jibe with Blake's outgoing nature. Maybe it's just a clash of personalities that tabloids blew into epic proportions. Even so, it's not just co-stars whispering about friction. The alleged Golden Globe snub and the stalled sequel rumors suggest the issue could extend far beyond personal squabbles. One perspective says that none of these rumors should be shocking. Ever notice how rarely you see Lively in roles where she's not the central figure or in total control of her environment? With the possible exception of The Shallows, where she's mostly isolated on a rock, she's known for carefully curated parts that reinforce her brand, stylish, witty, sometimes comedic, always put together. That's not inherently bad, but it can create tension if you're starring opposite someone who's more laid back and less concerned about controlling the narrative. Another angle is that success can breed a sense of entitlement. When someone ascends so quickly, landing brand deals, big movies, and a high-profile marriage, maybe they get used to being accommodated at every turn. According to some insiders, Lively's teams, from personal stylists to publicity agents, know how to move heaven and earth to keep her happy. That can be jarring to co-stars who prefer a more collaborative or spontaneous work environment. Still, her fans are fiercely loyal. Many say this talk of friction is just typical Hollywood rumor-mongering, and they point to her philanthropic endeavors, her comedic banter with Ryan Reynolds, and her genuine affection for her children as evidence that she's essentially a kind person. Every celebrity has haters, they argue. Lively is no exception. No one should forget the bigger context. In Tinseltown, stories get twisted, details get exaggerated, and the real truth is often layered beneath multiple versions. The tabloids latch on to a single photo of two co-stars not smiling at each other, then blow it into a full-blown catfight. Similarly, if an actress declines an award show appearance for scheduling reasons, the rumor mill might spin it into, they refused her because she's blacklisted. But even if half these stories are inflated, the sheer consistency of the Blake Lively drama narrative can't be ignored. Years apart, from Gossip Girl to A Simple Favor, there's a recurring theme. She doesn't mesh well with certain people. Or maybe those people don't mesh well with her. In an industry that thrives on relationships, repeated friction can be damaging. Productions weigh the cost-benefit of hiring someone who might be demanding. If the star's popularity translates into big box office or streaming numbers, a studio might tolerate drama. If it doesn't, they move on to the next actor in line. The question is whether Lively's name still holds enough sway to justify the potential behind-the-scenes headaches. Some cynics believe it's only a matter of time before the Hollywood machine phases her out in favor of fresher faces who are more cooperative. Others believe Lively is so strongly associated with her sparkling brand and has enough fans that she'll be able to weather any controversy, especially if it doesn't blow up in the mainstream press beyond occasional gossip sites. So where does that leave us? On one hand, Blake Lively is the star who gave the world an iconic Gossip Girl character, luminous red carpet moments, and comedic relief on social media. On the other hand, multiple co-stars, Anna Kendrick, Leighton Meester, and rumored others, have reportedly locked horns with her. Award shows may be shutting her out, and big-budget sequels might be hanging by a thread because she's not on board for promotion. Is Blake Lively a misunderstood sweetheart at the mercy of tabloids eager to spin every offhand comment into a feud? Or is she a demanding Hollywood insider who wields her influence in ways that alienate co-stars and make producers think twice about casting her? The truth, as is often the case, likely lands somewhere in the middle. Being nice doesn't necessarily mean you won't lock horns with equally strong personalities. Being protective of your brand doesn't always translate to being manipulative or mean. Yet a pattern of friction isn't something you can dismiss as mere coincidence, especially when it leaks out over the span of years and multiple projects. In an industry where relationships matter, reputations can shift in the blink of an eye. Today's it girl might find tomorrow's phone calls going to voicemail if too many rumors swirl around her. Or she might rebrand, bounce back, and shift the narrative entirely. Stars have done it before. Only time will tell how these swirling controversies ultimately shape Blake Lively's legacy in Hollywood. No matter which side you're on, one thing's for sure. Hollywood loves a good mystery, and Blake Lively's story is far from over. Whether she's a misunderstood star or quietly stirring the pot behind the scenes, only time will tell. Until then, keep watching, keep questioning, and remember, there's always more to the story than what meets the eye.